550 million hoarded in the presidency. And he speaks about, credible sources that he has.
But how could he have known that?
So Bobby, like Stika is saying, well, they are in public service, and the constitutional injunction is that they have to declare assets, and if they have acquired wealth that is not traceable to inheritance, traceable to loan, traceable to gifts, and so on, that would have been acquired in contravention of the Constitution. So once they are in public service, they must also be careful the kind of lifestyle they lead, right? What do you make of the president's pitching of oral as a major plank of his statement, and that these things are beginning to roll out? And do you find problems with him like I do, that he shouldn't be here saying, I've told them to declare somebody wanted? Is that a job of a president to do?
Something the president obviously does not have judicial power. The Constitution is very clear. Article 125, final judicial power rests in the judiciary. I heard the president saying that he has directed the state institutions to investigate and take the necessary steps. Perhaps if he goes ahead to actually direct them what to do, then one would have said that he is influencing the exercise of that authority, because no security service is also supposed to act per the direction of any other person. They're supposed to act based on the evidence and then the law.
This is Ghana. So, they get pet suspects that they give to them to work.
So when Honorable Felix was speaking, I was marking his choice of words, and I must say I was quite impressed. You see, he used words like persons of interest. And he was very careful the words he used, so that it will not be as if there's already a conclusion that these people that are being...
But in fact, that is actually the language used in the oral reports. Persons of interest. They don't say...
Right.
Okay, I have not seen the report yet. Okay. So if you so that you will not be tempted to conclude that there's a conclusion somewhere that we must necessarily put these people behind bars. And so every other thing, then you think that, okay, the investigations, everything is only just for the sake of it, but the report has already been concluded. And so if the state entities will follow due process, we've been in this country where the people have been accused, politically exposed persons. They've been put before the courts. At first instance, they've been convicted and sentenced. The conviction and sentences have been overturned on appeal, and even up to the Supreme Court. So I always believe in the judicial system. Whether it goes right or wrong, they're also human beings. They're entitled to make mistakes. But at least the persons who have been accused at whatever levels of the investigation must be afforded the opportunity to go through the due process. I believe that is a fundamental pillar of our constitution and our democratic dispensation, that no president, no politician can either trumpet or be denied that opportunity. Right. And so I'm looking forward to just and honest investigations. The persons that have been affected would have an honest opportunity to put their defenses forward, irrespective of political colorization. Because some of the monies that are being mentioned are monies that could have gone into other projects that will benefit everybody. And so if indeed some of these things have been done, then the people who have done it, not the people who are suspected to have done it, or people merely by virtue of the fact that they occupy certain positions, because there are sometimes that the people who actually commit these offenses may not be the political heads of these institutions. It's very possible that the political heads of the institutions may not even be aware that some of these things have happened. There are instances where political heads have signed documents that it turned out that the document that they signed were different from the ones that were used to procure the products or the services. And it was only when they were put before court that it turned out that this is not the document that I was signed. And so let's not be quick to jump to conclusions. Sometimes you see that when these stories are put there, pictures of certain heads of those institutions are associated with them. The public perception is fed into it that, oh, this story has been published against this picture. It is very easy for the ordinary person to already, say that, oh, this person is guilty of this.
No, but it's your job to read a story.
That's what I'm saying. It's not everybody that would
It could be
read.
that your picture has been put up, but
Yes.
the story about you is different.
That is what I'm saying, that if the headline is there and the picture is put there, some people may just conclude.
That's their
problem. But at the end of the day, the person whose picture has been put there would be wrongly, thought of in a certain way. So I am
thought of
happy.
saying, if I haven't said something about you and then you think this is how you are thought of, that's your problem.
Something. I'm not saying that it is right or wrong. I'm saying for the ordinary person who may not read all the stories,
They
may
should
be
read.
quick, yes, to
should
jump to
read.
conclusion. So I will be happy
right.
if thorough investigations is conducted into these things. But I want to side with, I don't know if I can call you Sticker too.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
I want to side with him
Perfect.
on his reaction to Abronye's thing. And Honorable, I think that you should be concerned. Because you see, and sometimes I've made this point several times to you in private and on the platform.
Yeah.
We are getting into a state in our development as a country that people who have opportunity of platforms say things that they know is not true or ought to have known is not true.
Right.
But they just say it and they throw it out there and they walk away.
Yeah.
And it is now, okay, it's an ordinary politician. Ordinary in quotes.
You are not saying what he's saying is true or not
No,
true.
no. That's why I said people who say things that they know are not true
Okay, sure.
or ought to have known.
100%.
That's what I said. Say it and just said, oh, it's political talk. They start from maybe you are doing two persons are on the political platform campaigning for maybe MP.
Yeah.
And then let's throw that at each other for what it is worth. But it is climbing up to the seat of the presidency.
Right.
And this is the highest seat of the land. Something, if you say 550 million cedis, it is money laundering. It is money laundering because our laws do not permit such cash to be held by any person at all. It is money laundering. If there is serious evidence of it, the OSP should be interested. Or since he says he doesn't have the jurisdiction to strictly deal with money laundering, maybe the Attorney Generals or IOCO should be interested. So I am happy that he's been invited. Of course, it doesn't mean that he's guilty of any offense. If he doesn't have the evidence to prove, he may decide to apologize and said it is one of those things. But at least...
Would that be enough?
That is what, at least it will serve as a deterrent, not only to MPP people or to NDC people, that there should be a limit in the public discourse.
It's all about the place, claiming he's being intimidated and all of that, and he will not be cowered into submission. It doesn't give any sign.
Yes, but I believe that if that is his posture as well, it may only be because he thinks he has evidence.
That's typical of him. You know him, right?
Sometimes I don't want to assume
So
that I
we
know
are
him.
concluding here now.
I don't want to assume that I know
Concluding
him.
about what?
Now, he said typical of him.
I'm not concluding about anything. Very typical about him.
What I'm saying is,
Okay.
something, you remember?
He's a type who cannot be on this platform because they spew a lot of things
Unfounded, that's what you want to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
some really wild claims.
Yes, something.
I don't know the places where they are hosted. I don't know if the host feel they have a responsibility. You know, and you have, like we are talking about, you have these bloggers all around the place.
That's what I was going to say. There's a
And some
particular
of them are simply
jurisdiction for
engaged
it.
in pure defamation and insult, but because they feel they are hiding under somewhere, they cannot be caught. And there's something must be done about that.
Yes, and let me give you this instant because you mentioned Ora. Last week, I was there when my uncle called me that somebody claims he's from the National Security. He's gone to his property that they've acquired since the 70s in Agbegloshi, that he's been sent by Ora to come and lock the place. I can give you his name here.
I'll be happy to have his name.
That he's been sent by Ora to come and lock the place. So my uncle called me and said, there's a man there with some people that Oral has said, but Oral has concluded their report and have submitted it to the presidency. And so how can a big compound? So I called the person, he didn't pick, and I sent him a text. And I said that this is what you do that embarrass Ghanaians.
Okay.
And so there are people out there who take some of these things,
For purpose of what he said, I'm speaking for government, let me issue a clear disclaimer. Oral was a committee tasked with a specific assignment they have concluded. Even when they were operating, there was no other outlet or branch that permitted anybody to go and lock up anybody's residence or take over anybody's property. We are aware that there are some individuals going around. Indeed, in the last week or so, we've heard reports where they've gone to paste notices claiming that the Office of the President says people should vacate their bank.
Yes.
I am saying it here. as a matter of record that government has done no such thing.
I've seen those.
The office of the president has done no. So please report anybody who shows up making such claims.
You see, and
right.
there's
let me bring in Kwame Sapong Esedu. Thank you, Kwame.